Hi, I have a story. One day back in 6th grade our Spanish teacher wasn't in class, so we had to have a sub. My Spanish teacher hated our class, and when I say hate, I mean like a deep extreme hatred. So anyway, we started talking super loud at the beginning of class, and like every single crusty, dusty, musty sub says, she was like, "I'll wait." We proceed talking at the top of our lungs to the point where it was almost yelling. And we would not shut up. The sub waited for like 5 minutes, but she finally gave up. So she went to the teacher's desk and had the audacity to pull out her phone, plug in headphones, and start watching something. Like, excuse me? So some of us decided to walk over to her desk and figure out what she was watching. Apparently, she was watching Netflix. This bitch didn't even care that we were right there watching her showdown. So then we went back to our seats. In my notebook, I decided to make a sign that said "Shut up BC" the noise level, and there was like a school cafeteria but like 100 times louder. I got sick of holding it, so I just stopped and talked loud like everyone else. One of the really popular boys in my class, let's call him Pepino, which is pickle in Spanish, asked the sub if he could use the bathroom. This sub had the freaking audacity to say no. Pepino got mad, and so he told his other popular friend to go ask the sub for water. Let's call him Bob. So Bob went up to the sub and asked her if he could go get water. This crusty dusty musty asshole told him no. Eventually, the teacher from the other room came into our class. She was strict tough and told us that we had to shut up and keep our heads down for the remainder of class. And that she would be watching. The bell ended up ringing shortly after, and my friends and I started heading to our next period. I started running down the hallway and screaming, "Freedom!" But the teacher from the other room stopped me and she was like, "Excuse me, miss, get over here and tell me your name." So I came over to her and told her my name because obviously, she was going to forget it. Anyway, I continued on to my next period with my friends, and I had the next class with my friends as well. During the class with the sub, we all ganged up on her in secret to report our next class. So my friends and I walked down to the counseling office along with a bunch of other people from the class. All of us filed a report on the sub explaining why she was so bad. The next day in class, our Spanish teacher was extremely mad at us. She received a horrible review from the sub and from the teacher in the other class. It was so worth it. We never saw the sub's crusty dusty musty ass again. Smiley face. This is the story time about how we bullied our supply teacher. It was Friday and our actual teacher was sick, so a supply teacher came. We had actually seen the sub teacher on Thursday. He was with us for PE. Nobody liked him, people we calling him mean names. I called him Humpty Dumpty. We all sat down, but there was a guy who was told in a seat temporarily, and he was supposed to sit next to me, but he didn't listen, so I called the sub teacher. Obviously the bitch didn't listen and said, "Don't focus on him, focus on yourself." Our tia came in and I told her, but she didn't hear me, so I sat there. The sub asked if he was supposed to sit there, but he said he was. Then I said, "Sir, he doesn't sit there," and this dumb bitch said, "Don't focus on him." I gave him a dirty look and then he said, "Don't give me that look." I gave him another one and he said, "And you're still giving me a dirty look." I looked away and wrote the date in my book. He wrote some streak thing, and if we got all 3 of them we would miss our break. We got all 3 streaks, so we missed our breaks, but honestly, I didn't care. We got 3 streaks for lunch, but we didn't miss it, but honestly, he seemed pissed as fuck. After that, it was and he was being rude to students, made one of the special needs children cry, and then someone else was rude to him. This girl in my class called Jamila and a boy in my class called Jonathan wrote letters to the head teacher to try and get the sub fired. The sub wouldn't let us out, so the 2 of them ran out of the room, but I didn't work. They told the head teacher. She did nothing about it. The supply teacher wrote a list of good and bad people. I was on his good list. The head teacher told us off, and yeah, if you're watching this, supply teacher, fuck you, Mr. Muhammad, you crusty dusty musty firsty busty rusty ass mayo monkey. So one time I went to Paris, and I was sleeping over at my cousin's friend's house. I woke up late at night and found out that I had actually pissed the bed. I was so embarrassed, so I went ahead and grabbed a bunch of tissue paper and dabbed the hell out of the mattress I was sleeping on, but it was no use. I went into the bathroom and cleaned myself off, then I washed the thin blanket I was using to sleep. I squeezed it as hard as I could, then hung it on a dining table chair to dry off. Mind you, everybody was asleep, so nobody saw me do this. The next day me, my aunt, and my other aunt's baby left the apartment while everyone else was asleep. I was Gucci for like a few days until my aunt, the one with the baby, came to the room I was staying in and yelled at me, saying I pissed the bed and left the dirty towel there on a table. I wanted to explain, but I knew that it was no use. The adults in my family never listen to what the second person has to say. So I got grounded, and even my mom was mad at me, and my uncle was kinda being an asshole and always asked me why I did it. Not even my brother would listen to me. So they all viewed me as some fucking demon. I had to apologize, but nobody knows what actually happened. Sometimes adults can be assholes. Not to mention the fact that they knew I didn't do it on purpose. Also, they said that one time I reached my finger into the baby's diaper and covered my hand in the baby's squishy gushy, hella mush, batushy, crunchy funchy shit, then chased my cousin friend around the park. Then when I threw away my food because I wasn't feeling good, but they thought it was cause there were veggies. Holy shit. The day I did that was before I pissed the bed. That actually explains a lot. Anyways, bye. I'm also subbed and I hit the notification bell. I have a story. So when I was 6 I was dumbass, like really dumb. I couldn't even solve 10 plus 10. So one day I was stomping my feet on the ground watching Glitter Force. But then I feel something in my toe. I look and it's like a piece of wood. I screamed really loud and started crying so damn loud like you could go deaf. I fall on my ass and it hurt I really bad crying face. I really said crying face volume. My mom gets a pot with really hot water in it. I put my feet on it for an hour. Then I got my iPad and played Roblox. Then after dinner my mom showed me how to get it off, and it was someone using a mother effing knife and it was cutting the toe and there was blood. I started crying and my mom said that's not how we're gonna do it. Then like a day later my dad gets tweezers, like he got the effing tweezers and pulled on the piece of wood off. And I was crying really loud and my dad put a band-aid on my toe. Then he dressed me up and we went and got some yummy McDonald's. I forgave him because I was craving them nuggets. I thought the same thing happened to me today, where I saw some black spot and this time it was on my finger. I went to the bathroom and got the tweezers and tried pulling the black spot off my finger, but it didn't work. It was probably a pin mark or something else, lol. I have a story. So when it was snowing my mom let me and my siblings go outside to build a snowman. We built it and it stayed up for 7 days. Exactly the 8th day we were thinking about going to do a retouch, maybe build some more things. It was early in the morning, Saturday 10 a.m. exactly. We were all trying to discuss a plan to ask our mom, can we go outside? We all made a song to sing to our mom saying, can we go outside? She said into the O. We all ran back upstairs and started discussing another plan. Then out of nowhere we hear kids screaming to the top of their lungs, dogs barking. Then we all get a notification on our phones/tablets/TVs talking about there's a predator on the loose. Even my mom and we looked out of the window and our snowman was lifted out of the ground. We could see the dirt. By the way, we know most of the kids in the neighborhood, so we asked them and they said yes, it was them screaming, and they didn't even tell us what happened. They wasn't hurt, so I'm guessing they're physically okay but maybe not mentally. So this is the story all about how my life got flipped upside down. My brother thinks he knows everything, like every 18-year-old. However, you aren't going to believe this. My brother is adopted and he came from a rich family. They died except his grandmother, so then he got $4 million in inheritance. Since he was a young teenager he would always buy horrible investments. Like cars that he wouldn't drive that would fill up our driveway, drugs and weed, and food things. He would treat our parents' constant complaints like a joke. My mom is so forgiving and seeing her break down weekly breaks my heart. I was raped when I was 7 by my brother, so I hold a serious grudge. I think about murdering him every day. He yells at my mom and dad and it's just horrible. He would always anger my dog just to annoy her. And he could have donated that money or bought us a nicer home. But of course, he became a disgusting creature who will waste all of his money on drugs, weed, and fake friends. My dad appreciates when he visits because he can never see because he is out all the time. Moral of the story, being rich changes you. Here's my story. Me and my cousin were having a sleepover and we went to sleep at 3 something and OFC our parents made us believe that ghosts weren't real, so we were trying to go sleep and we hear the door creak. We thought it was the wind, so we left it and then started talking BTW. We were sleeping on a bunk bed and I was on the top, so I saw the door actually moved and I screamed so freaking loud our neighbors knocked on the door, so my parent came upstairs panicking, and when we told them, but they said it was nothing, but me and my cousin are still freaked out and BTW I still live in the same room. Okay, here's a sub. One time in 2nd grade there was this bully in my class that was a bitch, so after class at recess my best friend, let's call her Rosie, so Rosie was my BFF and she was so freaking clingy. Every time I would play with someone she would call a 5th grader and the whole class to yell at me, so one day I was so fed up when the PPL came to me, I karate chopped that yellow cheese frog ass bitch in the chest. It felt amazing and she starts crying and says, "You were my only friend." I said, "Well now you aren't, bitch," and the word bitch slipped out, so I got suspended and whooped. So when I come back she was talking with the bully and I didn't care, so I made more friends and the bully was saying to fight, so one day when she asked I picked up my chair and whacked her with it. I got expelled but I found more friends and I'm glad I whooped those bitches. Also Rosie and bully, if you see this I hope you work at a greedy McDonald's. So once I was at my friend's house, let's call her Emily, and we were playing truth or dare during class because we were virtual. So we were playing truth or dare as I said, and I said truth or dare and she said dare. So I said to post an embarrassing TikTok of her cry. And she said yes and it went viral. I thought that I was the queen of the world because I had done. So then she said truth or dare and I said dare, and she dared me to text my crush's best friend that I liked, so I had to text the best friend of my crush, let's call him Alex, that I liked him. Now I was very nervous because I am very shy, and she said to add on to it if he didn't respond by the end of the day that she would send it in the whole school group chat. So I said okay, bet. And then at the end of the day, he still hasn't responded, so I had to send it to the whole school like my grade that I liked Alex. So I did it, and the first person to do something with my crush, his best friend. He screenshot it and I'm assuming that he sent it to my crush. Now I literally don't know what to do because he might be in the same class as me or same cohort when we go back to school, so I'm nervous. I have a story. So one day I was in class, my BFF, me and some fake friends of mine were talking about our crushes and they asked me who is my crush. Some of them already knew and then they really had the audacity to get up and go up to his face. Let's just call him Billy. They went up to his face and said that I liked him, and let me tell you, I was smiling like I was at a beauty pageant. I don't know what to do after. I just tried to forget about it, and then they acted like bullies, especially this one girl named Olivia, not her real name. At that point I want to punch that bitch, and at that point I just wanted to cry. I went under a small table and started to cry. Then they called me out to leave. When I was walking down the hall my crush said that he hates me. Like, bitch, what did I do? And at that point I just felt weak, and the next day I didn't talk to them except for my BFF. If you use this I'm going to delete it after because I don't want my school tracking me down. Here's a story. So when I was in kindergarten this new girl came in, let's call her Allison, and she was brown and had black hair. So I have this friend named, I don't wanna tell her real name, so let's call her Emma. She had light skin and blonde hair. We were best friends since preschool. She was so sweet and never bullied me. But in grade 4 this new girl came in, her name was, again, let's call her Butthole. She took my bestie away and said to her I was being mean to her. I hated her but I didn't say anything about her. She told the whole class, even my crush, this, that I had a crush on, again, let's call my crush James. James was so sweet to me. I loved him since kindergarten. He was amazing, but he ended up not liking me anymore until now. I had a huge glow up. Now I have long brown hair and my body is okay, but I get fat shamed by remembering the new girl I was talking about. Allison fat shamed me the most. She said I was oversized, and I'm going to say her real name now, Ollie. If you are hearing this, go burn in hell where you belong. Before anyways, about Butthole. Butthole kept spreading bad things about me, like I stole a marker and everything, and she stole my markers, so that was a big lie. Anyways, about the glow up, now I have 3 boys who like me. I still like James to this day. It's been a year now. Also, Emma is homeschooled now. We don't talk anymore. So basically, this is my short story. I hope you liked it. Please don't bully me for this. Have a great day, smiley face.